You're listening to the Skills World Live radio show with Tom Bewick.
Safaraz, you're a senior leader, aren't you, within the learning and skills sector, not least as a chief executive of Pathways of Training Provider. I mean, you'll be aware, Safaraz, that the data on minority ethnic leaders in FE shows, frankly, we've gone backwards in recent years in terms of senior appointments on boards, college principal level. I mean, even significant bodies, regulators, statutory bodies, dare I say, awarding organisations as well. What do you put that down to? Why, having perhaps had a period of some progress after the McPherson report in 2002, there was the Foster review in 2005, there was an initiative then actually around trying to improve diversity and inclusion. What's happened in particular in the last few years, do you think?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I think race in the workplace generally has been an issue for decades. And in terms of specifically with us, in terms of our sector, it's more the important, particularly with regard to the impact that we have in terms of education, training. We're obviously big influencers on young people. And when you look at the demographics, in certain areas, there's a majority of BAME young people. So I think it's more and more important the fact that we have the right representation at the right level. What I'm seeing is in terms of schools particularly, there seems to be in particularly obviously I'm from Birmingham area, but in schools there seems to be a good level of representation, and you can see it. But it's at the senior level where probably I would say the issues are in terms of would you be able to identify say BAME leaders in the FE sector or BAME leaders in the awarding body or independent training providers, and there's not many names that you would be able to.
No, I mean you could probably count those names, couldn't you, on two hands if you're lucky? At the moment,
so that's where the underrepresentation is.
Is it time? Because we can have this sort of debate about perceptions. We can say, well, actually, we're just look at the figures, the low percentages. There's clearly a huge representation crisis of black and minority ethnic leaders, middle managers, those coming through the system across the whole of the FE system. This isn't about targeting one particular part of the sector. Is it time, do you think, for quotas or positive discrimination to be formally implemented in the sector? And would you support that if it were muted?
I think it's not a simple thing. It's not an easy thing. It's been, we've been talking about it for a long time. And you talk about courage, but generally people are risk averse. They're frightened to take decisions, to take big decisions. And people, even if it's facing right in front of them, even if there's facts out there, we go on emotion, and whether it's unconscious bias training or anything else, it's about hearts and minds, and it's about people make decisions mainly on emotional gut instinct. And I think the awareness is there. People are aware of the issue, but in some cases people think that it's not their issue, or it's somebody else's issue. It's about inspiring also talent at a level where this talent speaks for itself. It's also allowing people the how-to and maintaining that. And it's about the consistency of it. We are living in an environment where things have slowed down a little bit, and that's the macro world picture. But we need to get away from the things that are emotive. The fact that this is people raise this issue if they're troublemakers, or if they're there to cause an issue, and it's really seeing it as a positive thing, not as a fair thing.
Skills World Live radio show.